In the late 1st century, in the cosmopolitan port city of Ephesus, an old man is carried on a stretcher into a gathering of believers. He is frail, entirely unable to walk on his own, and pushing 90 years old. Every week, the congregation quiets down to hear him speak, and every week he delivers the exact same brief instruction: "Little children, love one another." His followers actually grow impatient, asking him why he repeats this single phrase over and over. Decades earlier, Jesus gave this exact same man a severe warning label. Jesus called him Boanerges, a son of thunder. It was a mark of volatility. He was quick to anger, intensely reactive, and dangerous. The teenager who once wanted to incinerate a village grew up to write the most famous definition of love in human history. John was likely a teenager when he met Jesus. He worked alongside his father and his brother James in Galilee, pulling massive nets for a family fishing business wealthy enough to employ hired servants. Psychologists use the term high-investment temperament to describe people with his kind of intense, reactive personality. A nervous system that spikes high when threatened is the exact same nervous system that fires hot when deeply loyal. The aggression and the devotion draw from the exact same well. We see this intense energy clearly when John and James approach Jesus. Acting as a single unit, they ask for the two highest seats of power in his coming kingdom. They look at the political landscape and demand the absolute best tables. That fierce ambition turned violent in Samaria. When a village refused the travelers a room for the night, John didn't suggest walking to the next town. He asked Jesus for permission to call down literal fire from heaven to incinerate the entire village. Jesus didn't extinguish the teenager's drive. He redirected it. He told John that he didn't know what he was asking for, and warned him there was a severe baptism he would have to endure first. Following Jesus gave John's volcanic temperament a direction. The ambition and the impulsivity became the raw fuel for his future transformation. That baptism arrived 3 years later in Jerusalem. The arrest, trial, and execution of Jesus became the ultimate crucible, testing the absolute limits of his followers' loyalty. The older, supposedly wiser disciples scattered into the streets in terror. Peter denied that he even knew his teacher. But the volatile teenage son of thunder stood his ground at the foot of the Roman cross and watched his rabbi die. Researchers studying the psychology of survival point to a phenomenon called post-traumatic growth. Some individuals who endure shattering experiences emerge with an expanded capacity for empathy and a deeper sense of compassion. In his final moments, Jesus looks down at John and his own mother, Mary. He tells John to treat her as his own mother, explicitly handing the teenager the heavy responsibility of her care. Historical records point to this arrangement lasting for decades, tracing Mary's final years to a quiet stone house in Ephesus, provided by John. In the middle of a catastrophe, John was handed a daily, practical responsibility. The son of thunder was now, quite literally, a son. Over the next several decades, John watched his entire inner circle disappear. His own brother James was beheaded. Peter was crucified. Paul was executed. John himself faced execution in Rome. Historical accounts describe him being plunged into a cauldron of boiling oil, yet surviving unharmed. The Romans then exiled him to the harsh, barren island of Patmos. In that extreme isolation, the aging fisherman recorded the intense, apocalyptic visions that make up the Book of Revelation. He eventually returned to Ephesus. By this time, the teenager from Galilee was the sole remaining eyewitness to the origins of the Christian faith. His ultimate theology was forged slowly over 70 years of surviving state persecution and watching his closest friends die for a radical idea. Near the end of the 1st century, the elderly apostle finally sat down to write his own gospel. It served as the closing theological word of his generation. Looking closely at this surviving text, you find the simplest Greek vocabulary in the entire New Testament, carrying incredibly complex cosmic ideas. While other writers focused on a chronological list of what Jesus did, John explored the cosmic identity of exactly what Jesus was. This legacy returns us to that frail, 90-year-old man being carried into the room in Ephesus, telling his followers to simply love one another. He repeated it because after 90 years of watching human beings, surviving the rise of empires and enduring mass executions, he saw what actually worked. Love was the only structural foundation that didn't collapse. After 90 years, John's message of love stood as the final, hardened refinement of a lifetime of fierce passion.
Learn more about the apostles at captivationcompany.com. And listen to the Apostles album by Excensia on your favorite music streaming platform.
And be sure to get your copy of our new Apostles book available at Amazon.